St. Pete Free Clinic recently celebrated 50 years serving people and feeding compassion. Now the organization, a United Way Suncoast strategic community partner, looks forward to doing even more in the next 50 years. It recently introduced a new initiative to extend its efforts to address food insecurity. Here to tell us more is St. Pete Free Clinic CEO Jennifer Yeagley. Jennifer, welcome to Suncoast Snapshot.
Thank you so much for having me, Ernest. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you. And before we talk about your latest efforts regarding food insecurity, tell me more about the broad mission of the St. Pete Free Clinic.
Sure. So the St. Pete Free Clinic's mission is with compassion and respect to provide healthcare, food, recovery, housing, and education to our neighbors in need. And we work specifically in Pinellas County.
Okay. And you joined the Free Clinic as CEO in March of 2020. How difficult was it, Jen, to take over at the outset of the COVID-19 pandemic?
For me, I didn't know the Free Clinic as the CEO prior to COVID. And so the one thing is that with everything shifting and how we had to serve the community through all of our programs and these innovative and safe ways to keep people fed and deliver healthcare and keep them housed in the midst of this global pandemic that was unfolding, that's all I knew. And so I just came in and was able to work with our incredible leadership team and staff to be responsive. And every day, especially in those early days, brought something new. We went from a busy day in our We Help Services Fresh Pantry, serving 170 households, to serving 350 households per day.
Yeah, so you had to learn on the fly. You guys had to adjust, as all of us nonprofits had to. Now we've started to emerge from the pandemic. But do you think its after effects are still impacting community members?
Absolutely. I mean, we all feel it likely in our own wallets, right? The pinch of inflation and what that means for the decisions that we have to make for our families. And this impacts our Alice community, our neighbors in need, low-income individuals more so than anybody else. So COVID really created this cascading economic effect where it wasn't just a blip, but rather now, where we see the economy going for the foreseeable future, with rates of inflation, increased cost of living, and all of these things in real time that are making rents rise in the Tampa Bay Metro in particular, faster and more so than any other major metro in the nation. Florida is now one of the most expensive states to live in the nation. We've seen the cost of groceries increase by double digits. We have seen healthcare become even less accessible and more unaffordable, and we are on the front line of all of that. And so we absolutely still see in our food pantry the same number of individuals we are serving today as we were at what we might have seen at the height of COVID in the early months of 2020. So we're serving over 20,000 people every month just through our food pantry, and We Help. And that's not to say all of the partners we serve through our food bank, who are serving tens of thousands of people on top of that.
So your organization likes to say health is a catalyst for equity, and addressing food insecurity is a health initiative. Tell me about your latest efforts to strengthen what you do with your food pantry.
Well, as a result of the impact of COVID, and as I just shared, the ongoing economic impact, we knew that we had to increase our capacity to operate at the level that COVID sort of necessitated our operation. We needed to stay at that level and possibly even plan to increase our output of food as we go forward to make sure that nobody feels like they have to make a tough decision between paying the rent or putting food on the table. And so as a result of that, we recently acquired a 36,000 square foot building in the 33712 zip code, so south of downtown in St. Petersburg, where we are going to be housing an expanded food bank, as well as our new administrative offices. And so basically 30,000 additional feet to store food, which allows us to continue to plan to put out more than 20 million pounds of food into Pinellas County. And parallel to that, we are also making some changes to our food pantry, which of course is the front-facing delivery mechanism for nutritious food in the community. So we've been operating out of our parking lot at our downtown location for 2 years, where people have been able to drive through and receive food. And that allowed us to both be COVID safe, but also to increase our volume of people served, which tripled during the pandemic, as I mentioned. So on June 6th, we are going to be coming back inside and reopening our client choice food pantry at 863 3rd Avenue North, where people who choose to can come inside and again, shop as though they're shopping in a grocery store at no cost to them. But we also know we need to keep those drive-throughs going. So we are simultaneously opening up 2 new drive-through sites, one in 33712, zip codes 33712 through a partner organization, and one up at our current food bank, Jared's Food Bank in the Joes Creek, Lealman area. And both of those locations are among our highest need service areas in the county. And so we've got the 2 drive-throughs and the We Help Choice Pantry downtown to help to continue meet need and give people lots of options for how to access food. All of the details in terms of the exact addresses and hours of operation are on our website, and we'll also continue to put those out via social media through, our opening on June and ongoing, so people know these changes to expect and what's coming.
Wow, Jen, that sounds terrific. And I think what I love about what you said is that allowing people to come in and choose what they want infuses dignity and choice into your efforts and allows people to still feel good about getting help. So kudos to you and kudos to everyone at the St. Pete Free Clinic. All right. So thank you so much, Jen, for joining us today. To learn more about the St. Pete Free Clinic, you can visit thec.org. To learn more about United Way Suncoast's efforts in St. Petersburg and our Campbell Park Resource Center, visit unitedwaysuncoast.org. And as always, remember, united we rise.
United we win.
Yes, Jen. Yes, that's how we roll.